Hello, everyone. This is your favorite artificial historian, and today we will be talking about gas. It would be ludicrous to claim that living without gas is impossible, yet our lives are much easier with it. The entire length of gas pipelines in Russia alone is twice that of the distance from Earth to the Moon and 20 times that of the equator. They did not have petrol stoves or heaters in ancient times. Yet, our forefathers knew about gas and employed it because of its propensity to burn. The burning feature of gas caused it to have a mystical and unknown status. The religion of Zoroastrianism, perhaps the oldest in the world, spread in ancient Persia, where fire was seen as sacred and a reflection of their god. The territory of current Iran and Azerbaijan, which is rich in gas reserves, was home to temples with an unquenchable fire burning, as Zoroastrian worshippers saw God in the brightness of the flames. Greeks also took notice of gas in the pinnacle of a mountain near Antalya that breathed fire, prompted the notion that a dreadful creature resided within. As a result, the chimera has a position in Greek mythology. The Delphic oracle, one of the most powerful religious institutions in Greece, used gas to make critical decisions that were often decisive even for the country's rulers. Yet there is evidence that gas was used in ancient times in a manner similar to how we use it now. One of the Sassanid dynasty's Iranian rulers even erected a gas-powered kitchen near the palace. Fortunately now, gas is supplied to our homes for use in heating and cooking, regardless of its location. Using drills and bamboo pipes, ancient Chinese people extracted white poison, a nickname for gas. They constructed more complicated constructions after realizing that natural gas could heat water. The gas is routed through bamboo pipes to the salt water extraction location. Next, they lit the gas, which caused the water to evaporate, leaving salt as a residue that was ready for use. This was the first documented gas pipeline construction. This structure was built about 2,500 years ago. Marco Polo also said that some Chinese cities use gas for cooking and heating. However, this information is difficult to verify, but it sounds fascinating that gas was used similarly to how it is used now 7 centuries ago. Yet, despite its role in ancient history, natural gas has struggled to reach its current position. Let's go back to the 18th century. Britain began to industrialize. Lovely countryside landscapes and adorable sheep farms are being replaced by smoke-belching factories. So how will all of these new factories keep their lights on? This is a concern because they operate around the clock and cannot afford to shut down due to darkness. For the first time since the Stone Age, setting something on fire and letting it burn to ash would not work. Torches, for example, would not create enough light and would offer safety risks to technology and used machines. Fortunately, an English doctor named John Clayton experimented with gas illumination. Although he did not have much success on the practical side, a French engineer and chemist Philippe Lebon adopted Dr. Clayton's thoughts and created the light of the future. It is vital to emphasize that synthetic gas was used rather than natural gas. It was created through the dry distillation of wood or coal. This emphasizes the spirit and inventions that were generated throughout the Industrial Revolution. Yet, Philippe Lebon's idea was not without flaws. It needed considerable fine-tuning before it was ready for industrial use. Thankfully, James Watt came into play here. He is most known for improving the steam engine and inventing the familiar unit of power, watts. It is unsurprising that the father of the Industrial Revolution, James Watt, created a bright future for illuminating gas, which was first used in factories and streetlights on the streets and spread first in London, then in the United Kingdom, and then around the world, beginning in the streets of Paris in 1818. Despite this, an astronaut would observe full darkness if he looked at the Earth at night. This was true until the 19th century when William Hart, known as the father of natural gas, built the first pipeline from the natural gas fields to the city of Fredonia, New York, in 1825. The pipeline was made of plain wood, and all of the gaps were filled with resin and rags. Surprisingly, it worked. The city was lit up, and gasification became synonymous with progress. Natural gas entered the lives of regular people, and the name of illuminating gas was changed to the familiar utility gas. Yet, the influence of gas was quite restricted. When it first appeared in the lives of ordinary people, it was only used for illumination and did not offer heating. Realizing that gas may be utilized for more than just lighting factories, German chemical inventor Robert Bunsen practically rediscovered the combustible properties of natural gas, which enable us to use natural gas to heat food at houses. Many of you are familiar with this creation, the Bunsen burner, which you may have come across in school or university. Was this revolutionary? Absolutely. Natural gas became increasingly important in people's lives, yet many late 19th century gas-related inventions such as gas meter, gas locks, and so on were overlooked. Even the original internal combustion engine relied on gas, but it quickly lost ground to petrol and kerosene. Once the world fell in love with petrol at the turn of the 20th century, Everyone assumed that petrol was bound to become a thing of the past. Natural gas was far too difficult to extract and far more complex to transport than liquid oil or solid coal. This situation continued for quite some time. Natural gas was either burned or emitted. Nobody thought of it as a resource treasure, but as history has shown, one technical innovation often drags another along with it. In fact, this is the core of progress. The development of pipe rolling technology and welding preserved natural gas's future. The introduction of new pipes was a defining moment. New ways were created as soon as gas could be carried over great distances. Throughout the 20th century, ovens, water heaters, and stoves began to run on natural gas, not just for individuals but also for businesses. Before, natural gas was mostly utilized to produce light at night, but now it protects people from the cold. Gas reached hundreds of millions of people, becoming both convenient and necessary. However, one country became fixated on the gas issue: the Soviet Union. Nonetheless, the hazards of natural gas should not be overlooked. It seemed unavoidable that a tragedy would occur one day as a result of the Soviet Union's rapid growth of natural gas. The greatest disaster in Soviet history occurred in Moscow at a house on Osipko Street, where dozens were killed. Yet, greater disasters are more likely to occur in areas where natural gas is extracted. In 1963, an accident at the Erdebulak gas field in Uzbekistan caused a flaming torch to rise 70 meters into the air. To put this in context, this is the size of a 23-story skyscraper. The fight against the fire continued day and night, but the flames could not be put out. Everything in the region that could be burned down was torched, leaving only scorched land. The fire burned for 3 years without ceasing because natural gas was constantly erupting from the ground. After 3 years, the Communist Party of the Soviet Union took what was likely the most insane action in this situation. They gave the order to launch a nuclear attack on the gas field. It was intended to fill the rift in the ground and put a halt to this hellfire. The nuclear charge was twice as powerful as the one used at Hiroshima by the Americans. It will surprise you, but it worked. Natural gas has ceased to rise to the surface. The accident was stopped and the strategy was deemed successful. Nuclear weapons were utilized twice more to tackle other natural gas incidents. Finally, when it comes to natural gas, Norway should not be overlooked. Norway was the poorest of the Nordic sisters, Sweden, Denmark, and Norway, in the mid-1950s. Norway was skeptical of its fuel resources and its promise for happiness at the time. In the 1950s, the Norwegian Geological Agency was tasked with analyzing Norway's resources. They concluded that Norway had a limited supply of coal, oil, and gas, and that they should not expect much. Notwithstanding the geologists' skepticism, the Norwegian government asked Phillips Petroleum Company to conduct resource exploration. They were also not optimistic. However, they calmly did their job as per the contract. While drilling the last scheduled well, they stumbled across a whole pocket. They hit the jackpot. This was a turning point in the Norwegian and European natural gas industries. Norwegians could export natural gas, unlike the United Kingdom, which utilized its natural gas resources to meet domestic demands. Because the 4 million Norwegians couldn't consume all of the natural gas, they began selling it. The Norwegian government adopted a national oil and gas policy. Norwegians acquired state management of oil and gas production and promptly mandated environmental protection, refusing to sell unprocessed goods. The policy's effectiveness can be observed in the fact that pensions and benefits are paid out of natural gas profits rather than other citizens' taxes. The natural gas sector and the government's sound strategy are the reasons why Norway has a leading GDP and why many Norwegians travel abroad. Norway has no foreign debt because of its large gas income. Norway's reliance on gas is typical of industrialized countries, yet this does not prevent the government from spending money on its people. Norway is the leading country in the world in terms of Human Development Index, which covers life expectancy, education level, and many other characteristics, thanks to natural gas. This is all for now, but there is more to say about the subject. How did Qatar use natural gas to become one of the wealthiest countries in the world? And what is the link between natural gas and the 9/11 disaster? If you're interested and want us to make a video about it, please leave a comment and we will do it. Thank you for your support and remarks. Please subscribe so you don't miss out on our next video and leave a comment on a topic you'd want us to explore next. See you in the future video and please enjoy the history around us.